All right, welcome to the final trading session in this holiday shortened week right here in Lagos, Nigeria. I hope you're ready for the Good Friday holiday that's coming tomorrow. But first, let's get to the top stories that set your agenda. Let's get a check on the FX market now. It seems there's no stopping the Naira right now. The exchange rate between Naira and the dollar, we saw a big appreciation now. It's up about 6.40%, 1,300 Naira to the dollar. That was the close we had yesterday, marking the strongest performance in over about 8 weeks this time. Intraday high, that was at 1,460 Naira to the dollar. Data from the FMDQ also shows intraday low. That was at 1,200 Naira to the dollar. So we're still seeing this strong rally from the dollar. Now, from the Naira, actually, the total turnover for the day was $416 million, marking the largest, that was the largest Forex volume recorded since February 6th. That was about $465 million. That was reported in that previous session. Well, another commodity rallying at this time is gold. Gold prices steadied, as investors digest comments from Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller on interest rates. Investors just want to know when they're going to get the first interest rate cut. But gold is not holding off, 0.28%, $2,219 per ounce. But we see silver on the flip side, marginally down by 0.07%, $24.73 per ounce. But palladium is not looking bad, still holding up above the $1,000 level, 1.92% at this time. So we're seeing a flat movement for the U.S. Gold futures, though that's about $2,193. Let's get a quick check now. Switch it over to the oil market. We're seeing oil prices up today. Yeah, 0.34%. And we're seeing the U.S. grade. That's holding up $81.76 a barrel, 0.50%. Up Brent, $86.38, up 0.34%. So we're still seeing a lot of volatility in the oil market, but it's looking like we're going to get a weekly positive close. That's talking about the oil market. Well, staying with oil matters at this time, we see the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has clarified that there's no reduction in the price of petrol and diesel at its filling stations across the country. Yeah, quite sad. But the statement by the NNPC Limited follows earlier reports of a crash in the price of petrol. The report claimed the NNPC Limited had crashed the depot price of petrol from 640 Naira per litre to 570 Naira per litre. According to the company, the earlier reports are false and misleading and urges Nigerians to completely ignore them. NNPC Limited reaffirms its commitment to maintaining the current supply of petroleum products across all its retail outlets in the country. Well, we'll move on to our first conversation now. According to the MBS, in recent months, the cost of healthy diet has risen faster than general inflation and food inflation. With rising costs of living, the word palliative is being talked a lot about right now after the COVID-19 scourge. But how can the right people get the palliatives, and what can be added to make it more effective? Joining us for that conversation now is Zuwaira Yusufu, Managing Director, CEO of the Aliko Dangote Foundation. Joining me right here in the studio. Great to have you.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, so
yes.
Definitely the buzzword now. It's all about palliatives, 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 palliatives. And we know it's because of the cost of living crisis at this time. But there is that risk that the people that really need these palliatives, most of the time, they don't really get it. What's the way around this?
So thank you very much for having me. We have embarked on this million-bag distribution of rice across the country. The initial impetus for this was Ramadan, right? So we do Ramadan feeding every year, focusing on the Muslim communities in particular. But this year, given the stress in the country around food, Aliko decided that we should do more and that we should expand this to all vulnerable Nigerians of all faiths. It also happens to coincide with Lent, right? And so we embarked on this 10 kg bag distribution across the country. flagged off Lagos actually just yesterday. So how we're doing the distribution is we're partnering with organizations and NGOs that do this as a matter of course, that do distributions, right? So here in Lagos, and I have my little reminder of all the organizations that we work with, but we're going to be distributing this food through One Ummah, Kokun Foundation, Lekki Muslim Ummah, Lagos Food Bank, Rumi's Life Support, Form One, and a few other organizations that really reach out into the community. In Kano, we work with Hizbah. And this is an organization that is in the communities. They drew up the list, we worked together, 1,000 people in each community, etc., validated, and with a very orderly distribution process. So it's absolutely possible to do, that's how we're doing it. And that's how we're making sure that the food gets to the neediest, because we're actually working in partnership with organizations that do this.
Yeah, because it would be quite annoying, because you see palliatives being spread, distributed around, but you are hungry, you're not getting any of that food. So that can be quite frustrating. But we're seeing corporates actually getting into this palliatives distribution at this time. Talk to me about how it can be done. So that at the end of the day, you don't end up wasting resources and you actually get to the right people.
Well, to be fair, part of me feels that the resources aren't wasted if people get them, right? It's a different kind of waste, right? If you donate and things don't get distributed, that's another form of waste, yes? So for people to get it, you just have to be very clear and organized about how you distribute. We work in partnership with the states. It's not like we're doing this by ourselves and we're just, jumping in the states and getting NGOs. We work with the state, with the local government, and with the NGOs that have the capacity to deliver in the communities. So we have specific structures. I mean, you'll be very impressed. I think we should have sent you videos of how, the distributions have gone so far in Adama, for instance, yesterday, how we're going to start doing it here in Lagos. And, I encourage you to come with us and to see how the distribution is actually going. It's orderly. It's done by, you identify the beneficiaries in advance. So in a community, right, the leaders know who they're going to be distributing the bags to. Issue a voucher, you show up with your voucher and you get your bag on a specific day. So there's no queue, there's a queue, but there's not it's not a free-for-all kind of a setup. And so we were very specific to design it that way, because the goal is to really reach 1 million vulnerable households in Nigeria, in all our 774 LGAs, regardless of faith, in this holy month of Ramadan.
And we know some other corporates might be looking to actually, get involved with this. What do you think should be the first step, if you're a corporate looking to, get involved in helping the less privileged at this time?
I think there's so many things that people can do. The needs are many, right? It's not just food. People need everything. If you think about medical supplies and medicine, common drugs that people are struggling to get, the cost of, let me not call any brands, but the cost of blood pressure medicine or, diabetes have skyrocketed. So what are people supposed to do? So there's a lot of things that corporates could get involved to help the more vulnerable. It's not just about food distribution. It's really about, how do we support opportunities also for poor people, vulnerable people, to be able to make their own livelihood so that they're not dependent on aid. Our goal isn't to, keep people in perpetual need so that we're, dashing them charity. This is us helping people at the point of their need, but really the goal of our foundation is really to empower Nigerians and Africans so that they can go and get their own. Right,
and you did mention, essential medicines at this time, and when you even go to the pharmacy and trying to get multivitamins, for instance, some people are having to, just go back to your fruits, at this point, because the prices are really, really high. But, we've talked about teaching a man to fish, and not just, handing that fish over. You did talk about empowerment. Walk us through how that works, for you.
All right. So, we're all familiar with the concept. You can, help people forever. First of all, you'll never be able to help everybody. And then the goal is for people to come out of that situation. So We work on, we have several initiatives that are in the empowerment space, including our microgrant program. We did this in Lagos a few years ago. We've done it across 13 states so far. No, across 20 plus states. We have 13 states to go so far. And the goal is to reach the 1,000 most vulnerable women in each local government area. We give them a grant, in some cases a phone, for them to start an activity. And that is a very direct poverty reduction intervention. People need education, they need training, they need skills. So we have skills acquisition centers. We have one in Kano. We've supported universities. We're supporting training programs, because what we want is for people to be able to lift themselves out of the circumstance that they're in. That's also why nutrition is so important to us, because from the beginning of your life, if you don't get it right, if children don't have access to the right food in the first 1,000 days of their lives, then it's going to be impossible for them to rise up to the level of their God-given potential. So these are all the things that the foundation is involved in doing.
Right, and we've seen the cost of healthy food actually rise.
Yes.
I think the NBS started tracking that recently, and
yes.
It did go up from January, into
yes.
February. But, talk to me now about boosting food production in Nigeria. What for you is the way to go about this?
So I think that there's a misconception amongst young people that agriculture is just, for villagers and for poor people, and that it's not an attractive and lucrative business. On the contrary, right? We all have to eat. Even in the Dangote Group, we have a rice project that is going to be producing 1 million tons of rice a year. That gives jobs to the farmers that are growing the rice. That, empowers the community where the rice is being grown. We have our own farms. We also have the outgrowers who live in the, around the communities where our rice growing operations
right.
are. And so what we're trying to do is really incentivize people to go and farm. We're doing a backward integration project in sugar where we're growing the actual sugar cane. So people are working in the sugar cane farms and seeing how much value you can extract out of sugar cane. And so, getting people to go back to farming is huge. We have a lot of farming land, like arable land in Nigeria, and we need to be producing more of what we consume so that we can reduce our dependency on exports, which obviously are part of the challenges that we're dealing with
right,
now.
But we can't be sending out precious dollars at this time.
Yes, import food that we can grow here.
Right.
Right.
So definitely, what are you seeing, going forward? We've seen experts, talk about some kind of soft landing somehow, or no landing at all. But, some have said, it's going to be a hard landing because we've seen a lot. The macro headwinds, are still there right now. What are you seeing, for welfare, in this country going forward?
So I think that we're going to be doing humanitarian work for the foreseeable future. And I'm saying this because just looking at the reality of our situation across the country, there are challenges that we all see. Like, I'm not making this up. And
right.
so, while these things are being sorted by our leadership, the truth is a lot of, children are still out of school. A lot of farmers are still not going back to their farms to produce the food that they need. So there's a lot of need that we need to address immediately. And so, even speaking with the governor of Lagos yesterday, he was saying how, they also are doing a very big palliative drive and, really trying to support people, because right now, in the near future, the needs are really still quite severe.
Right, and definitely we're hoping, going forward.
Of course.
We don't have to work with palliatives
Of course,
anymore.
we don't ever want to have to say palliatives again.
Exactly.
We never want to say,
get rid of that word.
food. Yes, we need, everybody to just be working and, taking care of themselves and doing what needs to be done.
All right, thank you so much. It was great having your perspective.
Thank you very much.
With Zuera Yusufu, Managing Director, CEO of Aliko Dangote Foundation. It was great having your perspective today.
Thank you so much, Lady. All right.
All right, so we'll take a break now. When we come back, I did talk about the Naira rally, at this time. We're going to break down what's driving that rally. That's in a moment. Just stay with us. Well, as I said before, the Naira is on a run. right now, trending against the dollar. And let's get the commodities market update now, Mr. Bismarck Rwani, CEO of Financial Derivatives Company. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations on making the Economic Management Team Emergency Task Force, EET, formulated by the federal government. I guess it's serious business at this point.
Well, our business is serious business, but, we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see. Definitely, we're hoping for the very best, with the Nigerian economy going forward. But we're seeing the president actually making a lot of moves. Well, let's start with the Naira. Now, we're seeing this rally. How's the CBN managing to bring, stability to the FX market so far, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's important. There's what we call the normal forces, the cobweb theorem in economics, which means that prices always move and exaggerate themselves in the wrong direction. So was it natural for the Naira to fall from 800 to 1,900? No, I think that was exaggerated. So what we are seeing now is a correction and a point of inflection where the Naira is coming back towards its fair value. So is the currency misaligned? Yes, it is misaligned. Is it getting back towards fair value? Yes. Is it running ahead of itself? I think it is. I think this appreciation is being overdone. It will normalize very soon. So don't get carried away by the fact that it's going to go to God knows what. I think stable rates should be at about 1,300, 1,400 for now. And then we see how things happen, because it's all about supply. The supply is not there yet right now, but that's not being worked upon. So basically, like I said on your program the other day, sanitization of the market, liberalization of the market, price discovery, and then increased supply, and then you see stability to around fair value. So for now, it's good. For one thing, people are not rushing to buy dollars that they don't need, which was part of the problem. Two, people now believe that whatever goes up will come down to normal.
So in your opinion, is it time to dump all your dollars that you've been hoarding at this point and go full on Naira? And what do you think could be the headwind to this rally?
The dollar is the paramount currency in the world. There's nothing you can do about it. They have inflation of 3.6%. They're looking for resilient growth in the United States. The United States contributes 25 to 26% of global GDP. It's the strongest economy in the world. Therefore, you cannot bet against the dollar. You just go with the flow. That's my advice. Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. All right, let's take a look at the oil market. Now, we're seeing, there was volatility earlier this week, but we're seeing a gain now. And the first quarter, I think we've seen about 13.54% gain year to date for WTI. Brent is up by 11.75%. What are you seeing for oil prices in the second quarter of 2024?
The projections are, at least for the quarter, are at about 75, 78. But at 86, we are ahead. And therefore, it's good for us. It's good for oil producers, especially oil producers that don't have the challenges that we have. So our projected price in the budget was lower than that. So we have some headroom. But our production, which is more important, is beginning to increase. Even though the production that is increasing is from the less revenue accretive assets. So oil markets are, but what is in dollars a ton is absolutely phenomenal. Stay there.
All right, Mr. Rwani, I guess I lost you for a bit there.
Accra began to be largest cocoa in the world, then Nigeria. So Nigeria is number 5. Nigeria is projected to do 250,000 tons this year. The weather is good. This year, the species that we have are good. So that's excellent. Frankly speaking, everybody is saying, and the cocoa producing area should be billionaires by now. But like they say, we never know what happens.
All right, so definitely we're seeing rally now for cocoa prices. Definitely that's going to feed into the price of chocolates. I want to believe. But we're not playing in that market at this time. So How do you think cocoa farmers in Nigeria can benefit more, and the country can benefit more from this cocoa rally we're seeing?
Yeah, that's all about forward integration, making cocoa paste, then preserving it, and then all the add-ons. But from a bar of chocolate, only 30% of the revenue from a bar of chocolate stays in the producing country. 70%. For example, if you take Kit Kat, which is made by Nestle, or take the other brands, but I know about Kit Kat very well, you will see that about almost 20% is on the branding and the marketing. Another 20 or so percent, 25% is in the chocolate manufacturer. And only at the end of the day, only 30% comes to the producer. And even from the production end, the guys who do the commodity traders like Cargill and others make a big spread there. So there's no alternative but to integrate forward, to go into light manufacturing, and then fix your infrastructure, like we've said it so many times. And then all the others will fall in place. Ivory Coast is now the world's largest producer of cocoa, the world's largest producer of cashew. It's also going to play in the space of coffee. Nigeria, there's no reason why Nigeria should not participate and benefit. As a matter of fact, Ivory Coast has now agreed to join OPEC because they found oil there, large reserves of oil. So very interesting days. The days of the giant of Africa dominating Africa are fast coming to an end.
All right, let's hope at some point Africa can also play in that chocolate value chain. Thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Bismarck Rouhani, CEO, Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you so much, and congrats again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we head straight to the markets. So stay with us. All right, straight to the market now. See, bullish sentiment resurfaced in the domestic stock market yesterday at the close of trade, driven by bargain hunting in Zenith Bank and GTCO. And we see behind me there's 0.32% jump for the all-share index, 104,000 points, back above that 103,000, 82 billion added to the market capitalization. Let's look at the sectoral performance now. We're seeing trading activity quite strong, 33% up for volume. Deals, that's up 18.08%. Sectoral performance, we're seeing the oil and gas counter again. That's unchanged. Consumer goods down, just like the previous session, 0.11%. But we'll see financial services getting a lot of attention, 3.01%. That's for the banks. Insurance, also financial services, 0.12% up. Let's look at the top trades for yesterday. Access Core, yeah, we did get their results yesterday, and it was quite good. And we're seeing 83.6 million units traded yesterday. Zenith Bank, 53.2. So it's the financial service again, topping the trades. That was yesterday, and definitely looking forward to how the market closes this shortened holiday week. Is the last trading week for last trading week in this month, and definitely we're heading into the second quarter. That's where we're going to see the next trade, and we'll see how the market actually plays out. That's it for Bits this morning. I hand things over now to the Sunrise Daily team.